Welcome back to Soft Spoken Story Time. I'm Cozy Kitten ASMR, and this is SCP-052, Time Traveling Train. Item number SCP-052, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Although it is not possible to remove SCP-052 from the New York City subway system, its predictable behavior allows the Foundation to prevent the public from encountering it. The 59th Street A, B, C, D station is to be closed to the public from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Saturdays/Sundays under the pretext of track maintenance. During that time, the station is to be staffed with agents from Mobile Task Force Gamma 6. Agents have been ordered to prevent accidental public access to the station and to capture anyone seen leaving SCP-052. Anyone who has been on SCP-052 must be transported to Site-21 for debriefing and processing. Members of the public who see SCP-052 may be released after the administration of a Class B amnestic. Description: SCP-052 is a Type R4 New York City subway train. Official records indicate this train was built in 1932 and decommissioned for scrap in 1975. Nevertheless, it continues to appear on the Uptown A/D track at the 59th Street and 8th Avenue station at 11:57 p.m. every Saturday. The train is in perfect condition and labeled as an A train. SCP-052 appears at the designated time, opens its doors to accept/discharge passengers for approximately 5 minutes, then closes its doors and disappears. It does not appear to ever contain passengers, except for those leaving the train during its appearance. The majority of subjects that have boarded SCP-052 have not been recovered. Passengers leaving SCP-052 claim to have boarded on various dates from 1976 up to 2204. The later claims he thought SCP-052 was a 300th anniversary special train. Subjects retain no knowledge of time on board. Addendum: passengers leaving SCP-052 must be brought to Site-21 and interrogated to determine their origin and possible threat to the current time stream. Generally, passengers from the past may be given Class A amnestics and reintegrated into society. Passengers from the future must be held indefinitely. See Order 69-A1 from 059. Site-21 currently holds 26 recovered passengers. Despite our protocols to prevent public access, we are still receiving subjects from the future. Although some are from alternate timelines, it is possible SCP-052 will begin to appear at another time/place, requiring expanded containment. The Foundation has placed several subjects onto the train in an attempt to understand its activities when not visible. Test 052-1, May 31st, 2009. Agent redacted, placed on train. Not recovered as of present date. Test 052-2, June 6th, 2009. Agent redacted enters train. Not recovered as he apparently returned to 1980 and was killed in a confrontation with redacted. Test 052-3. See notes on recovered passenger 052-4. After Test 052-3, O5 Command issued orders that no further agents should be risked as passengers on SCP-052. Consideration has been given to using Class D personnel in their place, but the risk of releasing them into the past is too great. Log of recovered passengers in Foundation custody. Passenger 052-1 entered train July 14th, 2012. Recovered March 8th, 2008. Notes: an accountant on the way home from the theater when she encountered the train. 052-1 has expressed surprise and dismay to have traveled back in time 4 years, but appears to be otherwise unchanged and unharmed. She has been determined to currently exist in this timeline and must be held indefinitely to prevent unwanted temporal effects. Passenger 052-2 entered train June 12, 1976. Recovered March 15th, 2008. Notes: subject entered train when lost on the way to Studio 54. Although unharmed and not a temporal threat, 052-2 is being held as the examining psychiatrist believes 32 years is too long a period over which to facilitate successful reintegration. Passenger 052-3 entered train December 6, 2014. Recovered June 20th, 2009. Notes: a tourist from Jacksonville, Florida, subject 052-3, now speaks Albanian instead of English. Held due to 05 orders, subjects from the future, as well as possible reintegration difficulties. Passenger 052-4 entered the train June 13th, 2009. Recovered June 27th, 2009. Notes: agent redacted from test 052-3. Agent returned with his hands surgically removed and a note in his pocket with the message, "Send no more." Subject does not remember his experience on the train, but when subjected to hypnosis, revealed, data expunged. Passenger 052-5, agent redacted, entered train at unknown future date, in violation of protocol. On July 11, 2009, body of subject was violently thrown from the train, landing 10 meters away. On examination, subject was found to have been data expunged. Whether security should be increased to prevent subject from entering SCP-052 is under consideration. Passenger 052-6, redacted, claims to be a Level 4 supervisor from the SCP Federation who entered the train in December 2124. Subject had been administered a Class A prime amnestic prior to boarding. In a successful attempt to avoid the fate of passengers 052-4 and 052-5, recovered February 6, 2010. As he will never be released from Foundation custody, 05 Command has approved sharing otherwise classified information about other artifacts in our possession, in hopes of gaining new methods of containment and becoming aware of future security breaches. Agent Redacted has been cooperative and claims that it is good we do not know how to open SCP-699. Subject turned visibly pale and refused to discuss this item further. To be a survivor of the Great Zombie Plague of 2092, caused by an SCP-008 containment breach. That SCP redacted can be killed by data expunged with a data expunged and SCP redacted. Permission to try this has been denied by 05 redacted. That he worked for Dr. Jack Bright. SCP-053 Young Girl. SCP-053 Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-053 is to be contained in an area no less than 5 meters by 5 meters, 16 feet by 16 feet, and given adequate room to move. Toys, books, games, and other recreational devices are to be amply provided and rotated every 3 months. Proper bedding, bathroom, and medical facilities are to be maintained at all times. Food should be provided 3 times daily, and 2 snacks are allowed if requested. No physical contact is to be made with SCP-053 without full atmosphere containment suit and eye shield. No eye contact is to be made with SCP-053 for any reason. any objects given to personnel by SCP-053 may be removed, but must be given to quarantine for examination. Only one member of personnel may be present in the room at any given time and must be secured by a safety line of steel cable. All personnel must be removed from SCP-053's containment chamber within 10 minutes of entering. Any personnel who begin to act erratically, scream, or attempt to grab SCP-053 are to be removed and quarantined. Any personnel attempting to remove their suit are also to be removed and quarantined. No sharp objects or firearms are allowed in SCP-053's containment room. Description: SCP-053 appears to be a small 3-year-old girl. She is capable of basic speech and appears to be slightly above average in mental development. She has a generally pleasant personality and rarely seems upset, becoming agitated only in the presence of groups of people. Any and all humans over the age of 3 who make eye contact with, physically touch, or remain around SCP-053 for longer than 10 minutes will rapidly become irrational, paranoid, and homicidal. Most, if not all, of these feelings will be directed at SCP-053, and afflicted subjects will attempt to kill SCP-053 after first killing or driving off all humans visible to them. Those attempting to kill SCP-053 will suffer massive heart attacks or seizures and die seconds after doing any physical damage to SCP-053. SCP-053 will regenerate almost instantaneously from any wound, regardless of severity. SCP-053 appears wholly ignorant of these effects and ignores any and all subjects affected. When questioned about the effect, SCP-053 is incapable of response. SCP-054 Water Nymph. Item number SCP-054. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Subject is held in a watertight isolation room, outfitted with specialized climate control equipment. An ornate fountain filled with water stands in the center of the enclosure. Maintenance personnel are required to wear NBC suits while inside the containment area and must spend 10 minutes in a special drying room after exiting. In the event of a breach, the surrounding area should be evacuated and the enclosure flushed with liquid nitrogen. The fountain's chemical levels and volume are to be monitored and maintained. Spring water from redacted should be used as SCP-054 is highly sensitive to hydrological conditions. SCP-054 has developed a mistrust for human males during its confinement. Thus, assignment of female personnel is recommended. Description: out of the water, the subject most often appears as a female humanoid with a mean volume of 90 liters, comprised entirely of water. Other forms are possible, commonly geometric shapes. When it enters a body of water, it becomes indistinguishable from its surroundings. The subject must periodically return to a body of water in order to maintain its volume due to evaporation. Initially found in redacted, it was moved to Site 8 for further study. Subject was initially curious about Foundation personnel and seemed to enjoy interacting with maintenance staff and researchers, mimicking their forms. After a number of weeks, the creature apparently felt comfortable enough to remain out of the water during routine monitoring, though it retreated when attempts were made to study its composition. SCP-054 is apparently composed of normal water, with no detectable differences compared to ordinary spring water from the same source. No thermal, electromagnetic, biological, or other phenomenon has ever been detected in its body that would suggest how it animates. Water lost by SCP-054 to evaporation exhibits no special properties when condensed. Experiments with SCP-054 were halted following data expunged. 2 researchers injured. After this incident, containment protocols were updated. Subject thereafter exhibited signs of mistrust and aggression around male personnel, which made up the majority of the original research staff. Subject reclassified Euclid. Partial transcripts, Audio Journal 054-A. Water loss experiment. Subject becomes withdrawn and inactive when denied access to water. Its compact shape is theorized to reduce surface area exposed to evaporation. For the first few days, it moved eagerly to greet anyone entering its enclosure, and behaved excitably. Possibly indicates an understanding by the subject that we control its access to water supplies. Subject ceased this behavior yesterday, presumably in recognition that no help was forthcoming. Temperature extremes testing. We got authorization to attempt sub-zero testing this morning. The subject became lethargic as the temperature fell and froze completely after redacted. Spectroscopy of the ice crystal revealed no abnormalities. Ice chips were collected for study. This is in stark contrast to its behavior in the 95-degree tests, when it became aggressive and attempted to escape its enclosure. We've submitted a work order to combine the climate control equipment with the subject's standard enclosure, as it has begun to resist efforts to transport it to experimental chambers with increasingly desperate behavior. Memory and conditioning evaluation. Subject has proven unexpectedly adept at navigating complex mazes and solving puzzles. Dr. Seskel has finally overcome the problem of motivating the subject by the application of electrical shocks and/or cilia desiccants. He joked that we should have it trained to fetch in no time, and after observing his methods, I think he might be right. Note: subject to be allowed a 48-hour recuperation period. It seemed to be lagging in its progress at the end of the week's experiments. Acid/base incorporation experiment. Last log entry. I'm starting with a 0.5 mHCl solution. I have no idea what will happen, but if this thing incorporates homeostatic mechanisms, like I suspect, then we should get some insight into how it maintains its form. Temperature in the enclosure has been lowered to 278 Kelvin to help control 54's increasingly erratic behavior. Addendum 054B. After 5 years with no incidents, subject rating has been downgraded to safe on recommendation of Dr. Redacted. Experiments will resume under the auspices of Biology Unit E7. Caution should still be exercised when interacting with subject.